And Google My Maps is kind of one of those resources that we have that people forget about or they don't know about, but it comes with the Google Suite of tools. So if you have those in your district, you have Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Drawing, you also have Google My Maps. So I'm going to go through the basic functions of Google My Maps and what you can do with the map. And then secondly, we're going to look at an importing data feature, which when you filled out the survey, you will be able to magically import your information into the map, and then talk about some ideas for using this in the classroom. So I'm going to walk you through first the basics of the map, and then I'm going to go live. So first thing in Google My Map, this is where you find Google My Map. So when you go into your Drive, go to New, go down and to More, and you'll see Google My Maps over here. And that's where you find it. And you'll probably be surprised because you may not know it's there. First thing you do is title your map. You'll just open it up, create a new map, title it. There are some different things in the toolbar. You can add points. You can also search to add points, and I'll show you how to do that. You can edit the points, and this is something that we really like because when you edit the points, you can add links to primary sources. You can add information, data, research, pictures, so all kinds of things with the editing the points and adding more information. The paint bucket lets you add different icons. You can edit, you can add an image, or you can add even a slideshow. And then you could delete if you want, but we'll talk about that a little bit. And then you can add a layer, and you can turn these layers on and off. So this is some of the power of Google My Maps, is adding these layers. All right, so we're going to go live because I want to show you how the lines work when you go live. And then there is also a measurement tool. So all kinds of really neat things to work with kids. Math, science, social studies, literacy, all kinds of different applications. So I'm going to go live, and I'm going to go into New and down to More. I'm going to go to Google My Maps. I'm just going to quickly create one. It's as simple as that. You can also just search Google My Maps and come up with a new map. So here's my map. I'm going to go in and title this. And I could add a description, all kinds of information here. So if I'm just in my map, I can add an icon. So I thought maybe it might be fun. You could do this with kids. Tell your story. So I grew up in a little town. And I'm actually going to go up here and search for it. So you can either just go right to the map, and I'll show you that in a minute. But the first thing, I grew up in a little farming community. I actually grew up outside of Aramo, but I'm going to add this to the map. So you saw that I just looked for it. It already dropped a pin for me, gave me some information. I'm going to add that to the map, and now I can edit this pin. So I can go in, and I've got lots of options for colors. So, and I've also got some options for icons. So I grew up, I can go through and they all come up in different subject categories, but I can also just search. So I grew up on a dairy farm, so I'm going to say, okay, there's my, I'm actually going to change that. There's my farm icon, and I'm going to close it out of that part, and I can go up and add pictures. I could add pictures from my Google Drive, from my computer. I can also do image search. So here's where you find Aramo. I can select that, and it adds an image to my link. But look right here, you can also, there's a little plus sign. I can go there and I can add more images, and I can start to create a slideshow. So, and then in here I have ways to, I can do research, I could do my citation, maybe if I spell it right, I can do a primary source. So I've got all kinds of options, and this just, we have kids do great descriptions, tell us what's going on in that picture, and then I push save, close out of it. There's my icon, and I can just click on it, and there's the start of my slideshow. So pretty cool. So the next thing in my life, and how fun to do this with kids, right? I went down the road a little bit. Let's see if I can. And I went to Utah State. I went to Logan. So this time I didn't search for it. I'm just going to click on this and add a marker. And there's my marker. So I can do it either way. So again, I can add some information. I can click on the camera, edit that, right? Look for some more pictures, and I can save that icon. So I have that, but now I have my two icons, and I could draw a line between them. So I could add a driving route or a line. So if I start here, I could just draw a line right to there, and if I double click, then that takes my line. It also gives me some points where I could add some other icons if I wanted. I can also check mileage. So I could start here and measure the distance between 2 points. And I've already started, so I've started a story, right? So I have the story of my life started in this map. So great. Some great things you can do. One thing I want to show you before we add another layer, I'm actually going to go in here and name that. So now this layer is named. I can turn that off if I want, and then everything disappears. I can also go up, and I like doing this with kids. So I can actually draw a shape around different continents and talk about you know, maybe some map projections. And once you finish the shape, then once you come all the way around, then it finishes the shape. But now I can move this. So how interesting that this is the size of Greenland at the top of my map, but what happens? So think of that discussion and all those map things that you can do with kids inside of this Google My Map. Isn't that cool? And think and have that great discussion. So now I'm going to add a layer. So I have this layer. Down here I'm going to add your story. So I started with my story, but I'm going to import your story with places that you love to go. So if I click on this import, that's a whole nother thing. I can go to my Google Drive, and usually if I've been in something, it'll come up as recent, or I can search. I'm looking for the spreadsheet that we filled out. So here it is. I'm just going to click on it, and you'll notice it said fetching, and now it says select the columns to tell us what to name the place marks. So I want the place marks named the locations that you all put in your survey. So I'm going to say, so I'm going to choose that column. That's the question you chose. And then the next thing I'm going to choose is what do I want to run up and down over here? So usually when I'm working with kids, I'll choose their first name, or I can choose this same one again, depending on what I want. And then you'll notice it's loading, and it just magically adds all of these icons. All of these icons all over the map. So I can also go over, and you'll notice that they were named, so I could just click on somebody. So let's try Mary. So Mary said, I can't even say that, somewhere great in Italy, and it's the setting for many films. That was a fun fact for her. Or I could just click on an icon, and Kyle said he liked to go to the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming. He was able to hunt a moose there when he was younger. So I can still add pictures. Often you can add as many things as you want into your spreadsheet and into your questions. We just asked you a couple of things. Often we'll put links, ask kids to put links to images. The one thing that doesn't work is adding an image from the spreadsheet. You have to go in this way, but so our hack is to add a link. So then you've got the link to the spreadsheet. So how did we get here? So you all filled out this survey, right? And then from this survey in Google, I can create a spreadsheet. So I created a spreadsheet, and then here's the spreadsheet. 26 people filled it out, and Google My Maps just imported that information and created the markers on the map, put them at the right place, and all you had to do was say Venice, Italy. It found Venice, Italy. One thing you can think about is whatever's on this sheet is what shows up on your map. So before you import, you could take the timestamp out because that'll show up as a pin. So you could delete that column if you don't want it, or if you don't want kids' names in, or you would check, like Kent put his last name, so you could check just to make sure that they didn't have their last names. Or Ruth K would be okay too, but we want to really watch those digital footprints with our kids, right? Or you could just have them put in a student ID number, whatever you want. But think about, so this is kind of the backwards planning to think about as you are creating your Google My Map.